Good morning and welcome to Bridging the Gap webinar hosted by the New Jersey Family Engagement Hub. I'm Jeanette Mejias, co-director of the New Jersey Family Engagement Hub and the director of family engagement at SPAN. Today, we are focusing on how strengthening family engagement boosts student success, it expands the support team, and empowers diverse communities. Even in small shifts in how we connect with families can create meaningful change for students and schools. So as we move through today's session, we're going to explore practical ways to close these gaps and strengthen the partnerships that anchor our students through times of change. But before we begin, a few housekeeping notes. We want you to engage in the chat, so we want to hear your thoughts, reflections, if you have any questions, or tell us where you're from. Your mics will remain muted to support a smooth session, and we would like you to use the reaction button to share if whatever the presenter is sharing resonates with you, so we can continue to keep that energy throughout the presentation. And now over to my counterpart for team introductions, Dr. Lanisha Makel-Ridley.
Thank you so much, Jeanette, and good morning, everyone. As Jeanette said, my name is Dr. Lanisha Makel-Ridley, and I am the other project co-director for the New Jersey Family Engagement Hub. Just a little bit about myself. I am a mom of a soon-to-be 7-year-old, and I am a person that loves to read. I am hoping that you will love what we share with you today on bridging those gaps. And I'm going to turn it over now to our training coordinator.
Thank you, Lanisha. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kim Rivers, and I am the training coordinator for our Family Engagement Hub. I am a mom of 3 now adult kids, 18, 22, and 24. And yes, knowing who your team is, identifying your people, identifying your village, it's so important. And so I'm really grateful that you are joining us. And now I'm going to pass it over to Faith.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning, everyone. My name is Faith Victor. I'm the Northern Regional Family Engagement Specialist. Thank you for being here. And now, on to Evan.
Thank you, Faith. Hi, my name is Evan Hardy. I am the Central Regional Family Engagement Specialist. Thank you all for being here this lovely morning, and I would like to pass it along to Alexis.
Thank you, Evan. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alexis Pratt. I am the Community Engagement Specialist for the New Jersey Family Engagement Hub. I hope you all enjoyed today's webinar, and I'll pass it to Casey for introductions.
Hi, I'm Casey Dudley. I am the Parents as Champions for Healthy Schools coordinator, and I'm glad that you guys are here with us today and looking forward to a great training. And I will pass it along to Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Casey. And good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie Babbitts, and I am the project coordinator for START. And I support parent groups across the state in the work that I do on the hub. I'm glad to be here this morning, and I am passing it over to Kayari.
Thank you, Stephanie. Hi, my name is Kayari Tyler, and I'm the Virtual Event Support Specialist. And now back over to Lanisha to talk more about the hub.
We got started with a grant from the U.S. Department of Education almost 4 years ago. And our goal in being the hub is to bridge the gap between educators, families, youth, and community partners around family engagement. It takes a village to raise our students. It's not just about what goes on inside of school, it's about what goes on outside of school. So we bridge that gap by providing resources and tools that will help strengthen partnerships that have already been formed or to enable partnerships that have not been formed, all for the purpose of strengthening student success. And now I'll turn it over to Kim to talk a little bit more about SPAN.
Thank you, Lanisha. So SPAN Parent Advocacy Network, our organization is the Parent Center for New Jersey. The mission of SPAN has been to empower families and to inform and to involve professionals, educators, community-based organizations, families, and students, really anyone who's interested in the healthy development and education of children, to help enable them to become fully participating and contributing members of our community and society. So in order to do that, we have over 45 programs. You see some listed here on our screen, and please visit our website at spanadvocacy.org to learn more. So now let's get to today's topic. And we are talking about bridging the gap, creating your whole school teams. And it is important in the work that we do because as a family engagement hub, we're all about helping everyone understand and utilize partnership. Because for far too long, people think that involvement means just showing up, maybe once a year for back to school night or buying a ticket to the fundraiser. And yes, those are important. However, true partnership moves beyond basic attendance and it goes into more active, more collaboration that's taking place consistently, where families and educators share, exchange information, have insights, and most importantly, make decisions together. And the research does show that that partnership has a direct impact on student success. So when families and schools work together to create a team, students have higher grades, they show up to school more consistently, they are better behaved in the classroom, and that success is not just short term, but the data shows that it is long term. So we want to help everyone understand how to expand your support team because a teacher in a classroom cannot do it all alone, and neither can a parent. Partnership brings together administrators, guidance counselors, school nurses, support staff around the same table so that no single individual carries that weight of doing things on their own. And it empowers the entire community. And of course, New Jersey being such a big community and everyone who gets involved, access to all, making sure that you can really identify their needs and help support your students. And there is a difference between doing things in a silo or doing things collaboratively. Because if you are individual, then that individual, whether it's a teacher or a parent, there you're relying entirely on their own observations, what they see, and that's a limited perspective. So it could be very different from how they act at school or how they act in the playground, versus when everyone comes together, you can really combine that information, what's happening at home, what's happening at school, sharing insight and completing that picture. And that really helps with problem solving because when you're on your own, especially as a parent, you tend to be reactive. You're finding out about something like a poor grade or a social issue at school weeks after it started. And then it's really hard to go back and address it because it's no longer on the table. Whereas if you have information sharing, there's more of a proactive support. When a child starts to struggle academically, it is really important that that information is shared so that the parent can then pick up and help kind of support that teacher and get those things done before they become a larger situation. And then if you are on your own, it's really hard to advocate. It's really harder to figure out, well, what do I do individually versus together? Create an ownership. Help people come together and work together so they have the same goals, and it makes it easy. And that requires communication. So in a silo, obviously, it's really hard to communicate with yourself. You're looking at stuff online, you're looking at the grades coming home, and you're saying, well, I don't really understand what's going on. What is a policy? Versus if you reach out to the principal and have a conversation and open up that channel of communication, you can be informed. You can really kind of align what you are doing together. And that can result in a decrease in anxiety because the pressure and the stress of doing things by yourself versus having that empowered collaborative advocacy between all parties. A whole school team is so important because it changes everyone's energy from conflict and stress to clarity and community. And now let's look at an example of what happens when an individual parent, teacher, or school staffer is interpreting a situation versus when they get together. Let's take a look at Leo's story. I'm really worried about Leo. Like for the last 3 weeks, he has been a nightmare. Every morning to get out the door, he is crying. He says he doesn't want to go to school. He says he has stomach aches, but I don't understand where it's coming from because it's just been in the last 3 weeks and I don't know what to do. I can't get him out the door. The bus is always waiting for him. It is just a nightmare.
I'm here grading my papers, and the student here, Leo, he was one of my best students, attentive, but in grading this paper, I'm seeing he's really checked out. So concerning. One of the things I've noticed is that he often does it around reading block. I'm going to make a note for myself. But he's also missing his assignments, and that causes a lot of concern. I even sent a grade alert at home. But if he continues at this path, I'm really afraid that he's going to fail. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's happening here.
Leo has been in my office again today. That is the second time this week. He's always coming in saying that he has a stomach ache. I check his temperature, no fever. I give him water. I let him rest on the cot. But I have to just send him back to class. I think he has anxiety, but without any medical history, I don't really know what to do. All I can do is just send him back. I'm really worried about him.
Ms. Rivera, Nurse Sarah, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Of course.
I don't know what to do about Leo. He seems to be really struggling. He is giving me a lot of trouble at home, getting out the door in the morning. He's always crying. He says he doesn't want to go to school. He even says he has stomach aches all the time, and I don't know what's going on.
Wait, he's been having stomach aches at home?
Yeah.
He's been coming to my office recently, around 11 o'clock, saying he has stomach aches.
Oh God, I wish I knew that. What's going on?
Wait a minute, you said he comes to your office at 11, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I noticed that exact time is when I transition him into the small reading work group. And his grades, I have to tell you, have been dropping. And that's been a concern for me because he was one of my most attentive students. But I have to tell you, he's very distracted around that time.
Well, reading?
Mm-hmm.
He loves reading. In fact, it's been his favorite subject. He even reads at home. That's really odd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like this has been happening for about the last 3 weeks to a month. Has something changed in class at home? It seems.
I'm thinking, I do remember, and I do have here in my notes that I did make a change last month in the seating charts. So what I wind up doing, I have here that I moved him to right close to the radiator in a corner.
Wait, the radiator? The old unit?
Yeah.
The one that makes those clanking sounds around 11 a.m.?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. And, honestly, he doesn't even complain.
Wait a minute. How loud are those sounds?
Very loud. I can hear them from my office.
Oh, no.
And
Okay.
he sits right beside it, too.
Leo's afraid of loud sounds. Like, he cannot even be around the vacuum cleaner or the hair dryer. It gives him severe anxiety. Anxiety to the point where he gets stomach aches. I think that might be the problem.
And you know what? I didn't know that. So I'm making a note here. I think what we can do is we could change him. Let's move his reading seat to a quieter area of the classroom. And maybe that might help.
Yes.
What do you guys think?
Yes, because it all makes sense now. The grade slipping, him constantly going into my office. I really wasn't aware of any of that. I am so sorry.
Oh, I'm so grateful that we met today because I would not have known. I didn't even realize that he was having that struggle at school. So thank you. And I can't wait to go home and talk to Leo about this because I think this really might make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing the information with us.
Yes.
I really hope that this will help Leo as we move forward.
Thank you so much.
So Leo's story is a really great example of what happens when we get that whole school team together. Individually, the mom, teacher Rivera, and nurse Sarah were seeing different things that they were experiencing with Leo. Leo was having trouble getting out the door, did not want to go to school. The teacher sees his grade slipping and thinks it's odd. The nurse finds him coming to her office, but it's only when they get together that they were able to identify what was actually happening. When we do not work together as a team, it actually has a very a disconnect, an invisible barrier where no one really knows what is happening with that child from the other's perspective. And so it really addresses that invisible barrier where you have passive school involvement versus coming together as a team in active family engagement. And then that has a cost. So if they had not gotten together, his mother would continue to be frustrated every day. He may get to the point where many of our kids get, where they start having what's called school refusal, because some kids, it's very difficult for them to articulate what is happening at school, especially with the younger populations. And then, of course, with grade slipping, he can start to fall behind. And if there is not a way of people getting together, sharing information, he starts to fall into that gap. He starts to fall behind, not attend school, and no one knows. So there's a cost to that disconnection. And the fact is that the data shows that when you have systemic family engagement, it really drives student success and behavior. And so it is imperative that we address this as a state. And of course, in New Jersey, they do focus on these communication gaps when they go into the whole team family partnerships. Then they talk about the fact that chronic absenteeism, it's one of the largest markers of student success within the state. So when we focus on building bridges between home and school, we can ensure that students get the environment and the support that they need to thrive. And now I'm going to pass it over to Stephanie to go into who's who at a school.
Thank you so much, Kim. So let's start with where your child spends the majority of their day, with their classroom educators. Think of teachers and classroom aides as your primary hub for daily learning. You don't have to wait for parent-teacher conferences or report cards to reach out. Connecting with them early about academic progress and classroom expectations builds an open bridge. When you and the teacher are on the same page, your child receives a consistent message about their learning, both at school and at home. Next, we have our health and wellness staff, anchored by the school nurse. It's easy to keep the nurse's office as just a place for Band-Aids and ice packs. They play a huge role in your child's learning stamina. Keep the nurse in the loop on everything, from food allergies and chronic medical conditions to stress that might be manifesting physically. If your child is visiting the nurse every Tuesday at 10 a.m. with a stomachache, that's often a signal of test anxiety or social stress. When the nurse knows what's going on, they can help us spot those patterns early. Next, we look at leadership and community voice. This team includes principals, vice principals, attendance officers, Board of Education members, as well as parent groups like CPAG, which is your Special Education Parent Advisory Group. While teachers manage the classroom, leadership creates the culture, ensures safety, and maintains the overall environment. Reaching out here isn't just for when something goes wrong. It's about accessing wraparound support, understanding school policies, and engaging with strong family advocacy at the district level. And then moving into broader holistic care, we have student support services. This includes your guidance counselors, school social workers, and the child study team. Whenever your child faces emotional hurdles, big friendship shifts, or needs multi-tiered academic supports like an IEP or a 504 plan, this is your team. They are dedicated to the social and emotional well-being of your child, helping them build resilience, manage anxiety, and navigate the complex social dynamics of growing up. For a long time, family involvement meant showing up for back-to-school night or signing a permission slip. True engagement is about stepping into the room as equal partners. Families bring essential expertise about who a student is outside of the classroom walls. And when that knowledge blends with the expertise of our educators, we build an unbeatable team around the child. First, your voice matters. Never forget that as parents and caregivers, you are your child's primary educator and an equal partner in every single decision made at school. You bring a lifetime of knowledge about your child's history, personality, and their potential. Your perspective is not just welcome, it is essential to shaping academic, social, and support plans that actually work. Second, going beyond the teacher. School is an entire ecosystem of support, so make sure you use your full team. Use your contact map to connect directly with counselors when you notice emotional shifts, the school nurse for physical or sensory concerns, or administrators for broader systemic questions. Reaching the right professional for the specific need ensures faster, more targeted support. Two-way communication. Move from absorbing information to actively sharing it. Don't just read the school notifications. Share key home insights like family changes, sleep habits, or new stress triggers directly with school staff. When educators see the whole child, they can adapt instruction and support long before a small struggle turns into a major challenge. Finally, get involved locally. Elevate your advocacy beyond your own household by connecting with peer networks. Tap into local platforms like your school's special education parent advisory group or PTA to connect with fellow members, fellow parents, and advocate for school-wide improvements. Joining these local groups builds camaraderie, resource sharing, and community strength. When families stand as equal partners at the table, our entire educational community grows stronger. Always remember, when we communicate and work with our whole school team, we support student success. Having a central contact list is one of the simplest, most effective steps a family can take to stay connected with their school. It turns uncertainty into clear, direct lines of communication, so you always know who to reach out to before a minor issue becomes a major problem. And here's how we build and activate that essential contact list. Identify core school contacts. Look, nobody wants to be frantically digging through a clunky school website at 7 a.m. when their child wakes up sick or an unexpected morning emergency pops up. Take 5 quiet minutes at the very beginning of the school year to hunt down the direct emails and phone extensions for the main people who oversee your child's school day. That means your child's primary classroom teacher, school nurse, guidance counselor, principal, and attendance clerk. Having those numbers locked into your phone ahead of time turns a high-stress morning scramble into quick, seamless phone call or email. Include support and specialist staff. Don't just stop with the general classroom teacher either. Think about every single adult who interacts with or supports your child throughout the week. If your child sees a speech therapist, works closely with a paraprofessional, has a dedicated case manager, or receives specialized reading instruction, get their direct contact details on this list as well. And here's a quick insider tip. Don't overlook the main office administrative assistants. Building a friendly relationship with the office staff is a total game changer when you need to get an urgent message to your child or clear up a scheduling mix-up fast. And then organize it for quick access. Having all these contacts scattered across random emails, paper flyers, school newsletters completely defeats the purpose when you actually need them. The key is centralizing. Create a dedicated label or folder in your phone contacts named School Team. Set up a shared digital document with your partner, or simply print out a clean, bold list and stick it right on the refrigerator. That way, if a grandparent, a babysitter, or older sibling is watching the kids, everyone in the household knows exactly where to look and who to call without missing a beat. And keep that information updated. School rosters change, staff members go on leave, and direct phone extensions shift around more often than we think. Make it a quick routine habit to audit your contact list at the beginning of every single semester, or right after winter break, when mid-year staffing updates often take effect. Sending a message to an outdated email address can cause unnecessary delays, so a quick 30-second check ensures your line of communication stays wide open all year long. Meetings between families and school staff are where the real work happens. To make these conversations as productive as possible, we need to move from passive check-ins to active partnership. Here's how we can do that, how we can maximize our time together around the table. First, organize your materials. Preparation before the meeting changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. Gather student work samples, relevant medical notes, or specific observations from home beforehand. Bringing concrete examples to the table gives both educators and families a cleared, shared starting point grounded in real evidence. It also helps you to prepare for those meetings, right? Second, ask actionable questions. Focus on shifting the conversation toward practical solutions. Pivot away from general questions like, how are they doing? And instead ask targeted ones like, What specific strategies work best in class so we can mirror them at home? This shifts the focus from simple updates to co-creating practical tools that work in both settings. And third, co-design support plans. True collaboration means building solutions together rather than handing down instructions. Partner directly with teachers, school counselors, and nurses to align home and school routines. When everyone around the table contributes to the plan, support becomes consistent across the student's entire day. And last, confirm clear action steps. Never end a meeting without explicit next steps. Before anyone leaves the room, agree on specific responsibilities, assign clear roles, and set a firm follow-up check-in date. Clarity on who is doing what ensures our plans actually turn into action. When we prepare intentionally and ask the right questions, our meetings become powerful tools for student growth. Always remember, when we communicate and work with our whole school team, we support student success. And now I'm going to turn it over to Faith.
Thank you, Stephanie. Educators. So up to now, we've looked at how families can prepare and navigate the school system. But true partnership is a two-way street. As educators and school teams, we have to create an environment that welcomes families in and makes staying connected seamless. So here are 4 practical steps for tips for making family school engagement engaging, accessible, and meaningful. So first, adopt two-way communication. It's time to move beyond traditional one-sided updates. Shift from static monthly newsletters to real dialogue. Use quick post surveys, simple empathy interviews, or interactive parent-teacher conferences. When we create space for parents to share their perspectives instead of just reading our announcements, we build genuine trust and mutual respect. Second, deploy multilingual tech. Language should never be a barrier to a child's education. Utilize simple, accessible communication tools like talking points or similar apps that allow families to text directly with you in their primary home language. Removing the tech and language hurdles ensures that every parent, regardless of background, stays fully informed and empowered to respond. Third, proactively share good news. Parents like to hear the highlights, the good news. The first phone call or message home sets the tone for the entire school year. Make early, positive contact with every single family during the first month of school. Reaching out with a quick compliment about a student's effort or behavior shows a parents right away that you see the child's strengths and that you are on the same team. And finally, eliminate meeting barriers. If we want parents at the table, we have to make it realistic and practical for them to be there. Offer flexible meeting times, simple virtual options, and on-site childcare during evening events. When we actively remove schedule conflicts and logistical hurdles, we signal to our community that we truly value their participation, time, and presence. So small adjustments in how we communicate and host families can completely transform our school culture. Always remember, when we communicate and work with our whole school team, we support student success. Families. A strong support system doesn't happen by accident. It's built on intentional relationships. The saying is, it takes a village to raise a child. And to truly bridge a gap between home and school, we have to know who's in our corner and connect with them early. So here's how families and schools can map out and activate that whole team approach. So first, map your child's whole team. Education takes a village, raising a child takes a village. So start by identifying every key player. Keep a dedicated list of direct contact details for a child's classroom teacher, school nurse, principal, counselor, and attendance officer. Having these names and contacts ready ensures you are always knowing who's exactly to reach out to when a specific need arises. Second, initiate early outreach. Don't wait for a problem or a report card to make first contact. Send a brief hello message during the first week of school to introduce your family. Third, share critical home insights. Families hold essential expertise about who their child is outside the classroom. Inform school staff early about your child's unique strengths, health needs, sleep patterns, personality, and major routine changes at home. Sharing these insights helps teachers and support staff tailor these approaches to meet your child where they are. And finally, join local advisory groups. Take your collaboration a step further by stepping into decision-making roles. Get involved in your school's PTA, join an advisory committee. The New Jersey Family Engagement Hub, we have an advisory committee, so please come and join us. Participating in these groups ensures family voices, help shape school policies, programs, and culture. Community. Community organizations play an essential role in creating a true village around our students. When community partners collaborate directly with educators, families, and support staff, we can meet needs that go far beyond the four walls of the classroom. First, bridge service gaps. Schools face complex challenges every day, and community organizations bring specialized resources to the table. Partner directly with school teams to provide wraparound academic, social, and health support. By integrating tutoring, mental health resources, and wellness programs into the school environment, we ensure that every child gets the comprehensive care they need to thrive. Second, remove logistical obstacles. We know that busy work schedules, transportation issues, and caregiving duties often prevent parents from showing up. So help eliminate these hurdles by supplying local transportation, providing evening childcare during events, and offering tech access. When community partners remove these practical barriers, families' participation in school meetings naturally increases. Third, leverage community centers. New Jersey is a home to incredible networks of established neighborhood hubs. Connect direct staff directly to New Jersey's network of community-based family support hubs. These centers are already trusted spaces in the community, making them ideal partners for connecting families to housing, nutrition, and social services seamlessly. Finally, co-host neighborhood workshops. We don't always have to expect families to come to the school building. We can go to them. Bring teachers, nurses, and counselors out into local libraries, parks, recreation centers, and community spaces. Co-hosting workshops in a familiar neighborhood location breaks down barriers and builds authentic, approachable relationships between staff and families. When community organizations stand shoulder to shoulder with our schools, every family gains a stronger safety net. And always remember, when we communicate and work with our whole school team, we support student success. Students, everything we do in education comes back to one focus, our students. But students aren't just passive participants in school. They are the most important members of the team. When students step up as active partners in their own education, real growth happens. First, embrace nothing about you without you. Your voice matters in every decision made about your education. Take an active seat at the table in your learning, health, goal-setting meetings, whether it's an IEP meeting, a counselor check-in, or a parent-teacher conference. Step up and share your perspective, your preferences, and your vision for your own school experience. Second, build self-advocacy skills. Learning to speak up for what you need is a superpower that will serve you for life. Practice asking your teachers, counselors, or school nurse for help whenever you need it. Reaching out isn't a sign of weakness. It's the smartest way to get the exact support, accommodations, or answers you need to succeed. Third, co-create personal goals. You are far more likely to hit a target when you help choose where it is. Help set your own academic, attendance, and wellness targets alongside your family and school staff. When you work with your team to outline your personal goals, you gain direct ownership over your daily progress and long-term path. And finally, trust your support network. Everyone has your best interests in mind. You don't have to carry the weight of school alone. Recognize that your parents, your teachers, your nurses, your principals, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your mentors are all working together for you. Every adult on your team is in your corner, ready to cheer you on, guide you through obstacles, and help you reach your goals. When students step into leadership roles in their own learning, the entire team succeeds. Always remember, when we communicate and work with our whole school team, we support student success. And Dr. Anisha will now continue the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. So before I continue this conversation, we want to share a quote with you from 0 to 3. That quote is, relationships are at the heart of successful engagement efforts. Relationships between parent leaders are essential for building camaraderie, resilience, and sharing information and resources to respond to real-time family needs. So that quote gets straight to the heart of everything that we've talked about today. Strategies, platforms, and toolkits are essential, but they are just structures. The real engine driving family engagement is human connection. First, relationships are the foundation. Programs don't engage families, people do. When we invest in authentic, trust-based relationships, we transform engagement from a transactional task into a meaningful partnership. When families and school teams feel genuinely connected, open communication happens naturally rather than only during a crisis. Second, building camaraderie and resilience. Relationships among parent leaders and school staff build a shared safety net. Navigating the educational journey can feel overwhelming for both families, students, community partners, and educators. Connecting parent leaders with one another creates peer networks where caregivers can lean on each other, celebrate small wins, navigate challenges together so they don't feel isolated. Third, sharing information and real-life resources. Peer-to-peer networks move information faster and more effectively than any top-down communication structure. When parent leaders form strong bonds, they actively share strategies, connect families to school and community services, and respond to urgent home needs in real time. They bridge the gap by translating school goals into community action. Finally, activating the whole school team. Strong relationships are what unite teachers, nurses, counselors, administrators, and families into a cohesive unit. When each member of the school community values relational trust over simple compliance, we build a welcoming school culture where families belong and students get the support that they deserve. At the end of the day, our tools only work as well as the relationships behind them. Always remember, when we communicate and work with our whole school team, we support student success. We have incredible local networks across New Jersey doing the work on the ground every day. Bridging the gap means leaning into these strategic partnerships to support our whole school community. First, SEL for New Jersey. They focus on embedding systematic social emotional learning directly into our school ecosystems. To learn more about SEL for New Jersey, we did post in the chat their website. Their focus is on bringing emotional intelligence and a positive school climate into family engagement. When families and staff use a shared social emotional framework, homeschool communication becomes far more constructive and supportive for our students. Patterson Education Fund. This organization stands in the gap by mobilizing community action around high academic standards. They broker vital relationships between urban school districts, local families, and private partners. They show us how a community organization can be an anchor by creating support towards stability, resource networks, and advocacy for our families. To learn more about Patterson Education Fund, please see the link in the chat for their website. New Destiny Community Center provides wraparound, cost-free support from fatherhood and youth engagement programs to foreclosure prevention, helping families access trusted guidance before reaching a crisis point. Pointing participants to neighborhood hubs like New Destiny reinforces that strong, accessible safety net available right in your community. You can learn more about New Destiny by seeing their website in the chat, and also know that New Destiny is part of a network of family success centers throughout the state of New Jersey. So we've talked about the why and the what. Now let's talk about the how. Bridging the gap between home and school isn't just an ideal. It's a practice that we can start implementing today. Here are 3 concrete steps that you can take right now to turn these strategies into action. First, adopt national frameworks. Don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel from scratch. We strongly recommend leaning on the U.S. Department of Education's dual capacity building model. The key word here is dual. Effective family engagement isn't just about training parents. It's about building the capacity of both school staff and families simultaneously so that they can act and work as true co-partners in student success. Second, access the New Jersey Family Engagement Hub. For New Jersey educators and leaders, this is your primary resource destination. Head over to the Hub's website and download state-aligned toolkits, practical guides, workshop materials, tailored specifically to our district context. These resources are designed to save you prep time while keeping your outreach high impact and culturally responsive. Third, watch the New Jersey Department of Education's training videos. If you want to see what this looks like in practice, the New Jersey Department of Education has put together video models showcasing actual schools across the state successfully collaborating with their families. You can use these short videos during staff meetings or professional development days to spark discussion and model best practices for your teams. Please, today, pick at least one of these actions to dive into. Small intentional steps build strong, lasting homeschool partnerships. Always remember, when we communicate and work with our whole school team, we support student success. Thank you for your commitment to our students and our families. Now, it is time to take a quick survey. We invite you to scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the chat and take our survey. Your feedback is essential in helping us to continue to deliver valuable and engaging webinars like the one we delivered today. Please take the survey.
Thank you, team, and thank you for participating in the survey. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this webinar and going over a few exciting announcements. First, we have our Parents Champions Learning Series, and that kicks off tomorrow in person at the Clifton Library. It's delivered in 3 consecutive learning sessions starting off tomorrow, the 19th and the 26th. It's from 10:30 to 2 p.m. We'll put the link in the chat. It's still not too late to register, but it does start tomorrow. So if you have an interest, we encourage you to register today. And then supporting students, families, educators through school transitions. This is a lunch and learn that will be offered on August 18th, and we're inviting partners, parents, educators to join us as we talk about transitions and some of the dynamics that have been happening here in our state. And so we encourage you to join and register, and that will be offered next week. And the link will be in the chat. Everything that I'm going over will be in the chat. The Ohio Family Engagement Leadership Summit, that's on Friday, September 18th. And as you learned here today about bridging the gap, as we continue to explore ways in bridging those engagement gaps, I want to encourage you to register for the Ohio Family Engagement Summit. It's a national gathering that brings together parent leaders, educators, partners who are advancing family engagement across states. And New Jersey is going to be well represented. Myself and my counterpart, Dr. Lanisha Makel-Ridley, will be facilitating the New Jersey session. So this is a great opportunity for us to come together as a state and think about what we can do to align ourselves in the broader movement in family engagement. So again, we invite you and encourage you. The last date to register is September 11th. And then we have our end of the summer SPAN soiree, which will be held on September 18th. And this is just an invitation to celebrate community connection and really the families that we service. So we'd love for you to be part of that evening. It's really a wonderful time, and we understand that without you, our mission is not possible. So we encourage you to register and buy your ticket and join us. And then last but not least, put a pin in your calendar. We have our upcoming next webinar, which will be held in September next month. Digital Boundaries, Real World Awareness, and Family Approach to Student Safety. And this is where you learn how to set those tech boundaries and digital behavior, how to respond to online and offline safety. So it's definitely one you don't want to miss, which will be on September 8th. And all of the information, the links are in the chat. And as always, thank you so much for joining us. We know that you could have selected anywhere to be today. You probably could have been at the beach, but you chose to be at this webinar today. So thank you for being here with us. And if you didn't get an opportunity to fill out that survey, we invite you to do that now. And we look forward to seeing you the next time here at the Hub. Have a great day. Take care.